Good afternoon, everybody. How are we doing? Good. And everyone as well online, thank you so much for joining us here. This is how I'm going to start. Firstly, Europe is facing a twin transition, a green and a digital one. The digital transition, for a lot of people, is all about tech-enabled businesses. It's about AI, it's about machine learning, it's about emerging technologies. But it's not just about that. It's about equipping citizens with the skills and the tools they need to be able to thrive and prosper in this digital era. And that's incredibly important to us. It's something that's very close to our heart, and we're really excited to welcome you to this event about powering digital inclusion collectively. So I want to welcome you all. My name is Gori. I'm Gori Yahaya. I am the co-founder and co-director of DigiCo, the digital collective, for many of you that know that. Both here and also online, we're running a hybrid event, so I have to make sure that I keep everybody involved in the event here. Today's a very special day for us because we are officially launching DigiCo, right? And it's taken us a little while to get here, but we've been very excited by the journey that we've been on to get here so far. About a year ago, Lisa Varga and I came together to create DigiCo, focused on a very specific need. We wanted to enable and empower and catalyze programs across Europe that are focusing on a targeted community of vulnerable individuals, and giving them the digital skills they need to be able to thrive in society, and especially within the digital age. We recognized that there was a lot of investment and commitment being made to digital transformation. People were thinking about businesses, they were thinking about how do we get everybody involved in the most emerging technologies, but there was a greater need to focus on digital inclusion. And the pandemic showed this as well. It really showed how big the digital divide was. And we thought there was enough effort being made to elevate those organizations that were focusing on digital inclusion. So that's where the collective came from. That's why we brought this together. Our goal is to make sure that people get given an equal chance to be able to participate in a digital inclusive society. And we know there's a great importance for digital inclusion in today's day and age. But through our experience, working in the field of digital skills, Lisa and I have been working in this field for a fairly large number of years. I won't tell you how long, but long enough to kind of understand the challenges that we face. We recognize there are a lot of initiatives that are happening across Europe that are truly flourishing and actually needed to be elevated and be made more visible. We also recognize that there was a lack of cohesion and knowledge sharing across many different member states across Europe. And we wanted to be able to create an environment where we could do just that. So we launched DigiCo. And in the past year, actually more so in the past 6 months, we've been able to launch 5 partnerships across 4 countries. We've been able to engage and support through those partnerships almost 1,000 learners around digital skills and helping them feel enabled and equipped to be able to participate in society. We've also engaged over 300 learners through our Skillify platform as well. And that's very much thanks to our partners that we have here in the room today and also online as well. Now, we're thrilled and excited to launch today, but we couldn't have done it without the help of Google. So we want to firstly thank Google, our hosts, to have us in the building today, but also Google.org, who've believed in us from day one and supported this mission and this cause as well. Now, housekeeping-wise, if you're in the room, we don't have any planned fire alarms. So in case you do hear one, we do have to get out of the room slowly, calmly. Toilets are on the left-hand side, and the Wi-Fi is open. It's Google. Thank you. So massively appreciate that. If you're online, we obviously want to bring you into this conversation, right? And this is what we are here for, to bring together a conversation. We have a hashtag, Powering Digital Inclusion, which if you're on Twitter, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on any of the social networks, please use that hashtag and engage in the conversation today. As you know, it's a hybrid event, so we want to hear from you. If you're online, we want to hear you involved in the conversation. So please use the chat, please use the Slido, please engage, please ask questions as we're going through the event today as well. For those that are in the room, we have the QR codes on both sides of the screen, which will help you take part in the Q&As throughout the session. So please do use those to ask questions. And again, it's a conversation, so I'm expecting lots of questions. Many of them are going to be relevant to your cause, your program, the initiative you're working on. So please, we have a range of incredible experts that are going to be joining us on stage today. So I want to hear all the questions, okay? Make sure you keep them coming. Now, for many of you that don't know us, that haven't engaged with us before, and this is the first time of you actually coming across the Digital Collective, I've got a short video here that talks a bit about why we're here, why we exist. And I want to show that to you for a second, and then after that, I'm going to give you a bit more insight into what it is that we are trying to achieve as an organization.
Meet Samid. Meet Fatima. Meet Anna. Different stories, different dreams, the same reality. They do not have the basic digital skills to get a job. Did you know, in Europe, 4 out of 10 adults are digitally vulnerable. They have low or no digital skills at all, being socially and economically excluded. 90% of jobs will require at least basic digital skills in the next years. 2023 is the European Year of Skills. Even though digital skills is one of the priorities of the European Union, the most disadvantaged groups are generally left behind. We need to act now. As technologies evolve, this divide is expected to grow exponentially. We need to focus on access. Not everyone can access tech devices, use, and profit from them. COVID-19 widened this divide. Vulnerable individuals. Digital exclusion goes hand in hand with social exclusion. So, we need a plan, a regional action plan, so that by 2030, at least 80% of all adults have basic digital skills. A future in which everyone is included. Join DigiCo. The Digital Collective advocates for radical digital inclusion in Europe. Our mission is to close the growing digital skills divide and empower those who need it most. How do we do this? We do so by driving the digital inclusion movement and amplifying the social impact of organizations across Europe. Who do we partner with? We're building an ecosystem to drive collective action. We need to go back to basic digital skills. We need to adopt a targeted approach. Are you in? Let's align efforts and solve this problem collectively. Join the collective. Join DigiCo.
So as you can see, our goal here is to really power digital inclusion. But solving this digital skills gap, it is a complex problem. And it changes across varying different member states. And our goal is to be able to unite individuals in this common cause. Now, when we look at how we put this into practice, what is our methodology we used to be able to get here? There are 3 things we focus on. Firstly, we are a catalyzer of social impact. We want to work with partners, and many partners in the room today, that are really focused on driving social impact within their regions, their areas, their countries, or across the wider regions that they work with. But we don't believe in reinventing the wheel, which is why we work with partners. We try to elevate those programs and hope that we can support their projects, existing ones that are going on at the moment, and ensure that we can help them be more impactful, whether it's financially by providing more resources, whether it's tools, whether it's platforms or tech. We're also a tech enabler. So we believe in creating tech that can help engage in digital inclusion, right? We couldn't do this without tech, right? So using tech to drive digital inclusion is incredibly important to us, but it's more important is that it's accessible. So we create platforms that help individuals feel that they can engage and test and assess where their skills are as well. So we launched a platform called Skillify. Skillify is a self-assessment platform. This platform has been built on the Digital Competency Framework. That's a European digital competency framework called DigiComp. Many of you in the room might be familiar with it. Those that aren't, it is a European-wide framework that helps really assess the needs, and hopefully with a framework helps you understand how you can progress with your digital skills. And we've worked with partners across Europe on creating this framework that allows for individuals to really assess their skills. It's free and accessible, and we want many of you to engage in it, and hopefully we'll get many of you who have engaged in it, giving us some feedback about how we can continually grow it and invest in its growth as well. We're fortunate that we've been able to work with our partners to ensure that it's accessible through languages. So we actually currently have it available in 6 languages, Arabic as well included, German, French, and many others. And we're really looking for more partners here as well. So we're looking for more partners that want to support us in creating access to this platform and ensuring that it can reach as many people as possible to drive and power that digital inclusion. The last but not least is that we are a conversation starter. We believe in the power of connecting the dots between programs, but also between people, helping people really share their learnings from the programs they're currently running, but also share their challenges as well, so that other people in other countries can learn about how they can engage those that are more vulnerable individuals around digital inclusion. So as part of that, we've built a dedicated community of practice. This allows people to come together, learn, share resources, elevate their programs, elevate their initiatives, and ensure that they're on a map so everybody can get access to them and also hopefully elevate them to their learners as well. So the relevance of the topic today, we're talking about digital inclusion, right? Again, the hashtag, powering digital inclusion. I want to see lots of that today. Please, if you're on your phone, I won't take offense because I know you're tweeting, so that's okay. Our goal is to really elevate this cause, but we're diving into a specific target market, target audience, right? And this is one where we believe digital inclusion is incredibly vital. This is where we look at migrants and refugees. It's a topic that's very dear to us and incredibly relevant in this current European context. First and foremost, we know that Europe has welcomed over 7 million refugees from Ukraine since February. And we know the refugee crisis that we're in at the moment is incredibly important for us to see how we can support integration of refugees and migrants into society. We know that integration is also high on the European Union's agenda. And as next year is the European Year of Skills that you're all very familiar with, you'll see many initiatives that are going to be launched to support integration and inclusion, especially using digital skills as an accelerator. And we know the EU's action plan on inclusion and integration absolutely elevates this as well. When we think about the link between social and digital exclusion, it's particularly obvious that migrants who typically enter a new country with fewer resources, or fewer access to resource than many others, have cultural and linguistic barriers amongst many others. So we believe digital skills can act as a real leveler for more opportunities. It can act as a catalyst and a vehicle for social integration. So for us, we want to really elevate the amazing work that you're doing both here and obviously online to really accelerate both their social inclusion and labor interaction as well. So as part of our agenda today, we've got 2 panel discussions, all with leaders in the space around digital inclusion, that are there to address both from a practical perspective, but also a policy perspective as well. As part of the conversation today is how do we drive that conversation forward? The first panel invites actors at the forefront of digital inclusion. We want to hear and help them or get them to share their first-hand experiences of delivering digital skills training to migrants and refugees and understand the migrants' aspirations for education and employment. We want to hear a lot about the training methodologies they're using and the successful initiatives and also the challenges that they've faced on this path. So please do ask questions so hopefully you can take some really useful tools and some advice away from you as well. The second panel, which I'm particularly fond of because I'm running it, is all about discussing how digital tools can accelerate labor integration. We're looking at concrete mechanisms, policies that allow for labor integration for migrants and refugees, but also highlight some of the alignment across sectors, right? So how do sectors differ in the way they approach supporting individuals and migrants on their integration into the workforce and in society through digital skills and the needs of their employers as well. At the end, we'll have a networking reception where many of you in the room will be able to all of you in the room can join us for drinks and food, and hopefully we can, as I said, discuss, have a conversation around this, and share challenges and approaches that hopefully can help us elevate the importance of digital inclusion as well. Now, I want to start off with a quick question to the audience. It's actually a poll. So I'm keen to see how many of you are engaging and have already scanned the QR code. If you haven't yet, please scan the QR code, because we're going to do a poll that helps us really put into perspective the challenge that we face around digital inclusion. So I'll give you, and those are online as well, please, you should have access to the link and also the QR code. And you've done it already. So the first question it was, and we'll give ourselves a bit of time as well, which is, which of these barriers affects migrants the most when engaging in learning and digital skills, right? And ideally, we're looking at motivated migrants, right? So we want to understand what are their biggest barriers in engaging in learning and participating in digital skills programs. If you just started, don't be influenced by the results so far. You have to do this without looking and go for the best. Okay, interesting. So we're having quite a range of results. The options, just to repeat them, a lack of prerequisite skills, which is also absence of prior learning and informal learning, price-related constraints, family obligations, lack of time related to work, inconvenient time or place to be able to learn or study, lack of employee support. I'll give it another 10 seconds or so if you haven't been able to log on. I think it looks like we have a clear winner. I think so. I don't leave it any longer just in case it changes. No, look, there are no winners and losers here. This is really important because for us, we're trying to understand what are the true barriers that are preventing or prohibiting some of the target audience that we're trying to engage from being able to access the incredible learning that we're building. And what we can see here is lack of prior learning and informal learning seems to be the biggest barrier to many. We believe the same, and that's actually incredibly relevant because that is exactly what we're talking about today, right? Our discussions today are focused on, what are those barriers to lack of learning? How do you recognize prior learning before you step into a program that exists at the moment? And this is from a study that we saw from OECD, which was a skills outlook for 2021. And we do believe that there are many different factors, contextual factors, that can affect a motivated individual to be able to engage in learning. But hopefully in the discussion today, we'll try to break down some of those barriers and find ways to be able to engage, support, and help these individuals thrive in society, but also in the labor market too. So thank you so much for those that engaged. By the looks of things, we're all technically savvy enough to be able to do that, which is great. Please tweet and engage and share and elevate the conversation while we're here today as well. So thank you so much. My name is Gori Yahaya, so I'm one of the co-founders. I'm really excited, pleased, and honored to invite our next keynote speaker to the stage.